South Texas Fail coming at you again. Why? I don't know, but I'm starting to get creeped out by you people. But in case any of you forgot, I am still just another opinionated asshole. But I don't have a smart-ass remark this time.
That's right. I film all these intros 3-4 months in advance, and then I use them and go through them. But I'd like to first off apologize for not uploading any other videos this week, but fuck you, I've been busy. Busy with what? Well, I'm still trying to deal with my dad's estate, and I'm still trying to do all the pre-work for my little brother's estate before we go to court for litigation for either wrongful death or negligence against a former employer. Why? Well, that's a story for another day, which may not be told here because today is Sunday, and despite Sunday being story time, Sundays are for gaming stories. You may have to wait till Wednesday for the truth about what happened about Sam, but I'm not going to get into that. Today's story is about a man. No, a legend. No, actually, it was not really a legend. Legendarily creepy, but we'll get into that. I'm going to tell you the tale of Herbert the pervert who loved strawberry sherbet. This takes place in 2007, 2006. I worked a job and I had Wednesdays off, so I like to game on Tuesday nights when I get out of work. And one of my friends, I've already told you about him, the man, the myth, the legend who played a Malkavian that knew how to play one. That's right, Highlander introduced me to Herbert the pervert. Ah, man. And it was a home run system. Something they made up. They just ripped off fucking D&D 3.5 and made it their own, with their own races and classes. That's all they did. They just kept the rules. The story, the setting, everything from 3.5. And just made their own races and classes. Now, I've got nothing wrong with that. Innovation is a great idea, and anytime you change something, if it works, fucking great. If it doesn't, then blame someone else, because I don't give a shit. Anyways, I call my buddy Highlander. Look, I'm off on Wednesdays. I want a game on a Tuesday night. What do you got? Oddly enough, his schedule was similar to mine. That's why I asked. He was off Tuesdays and Wednesdays. He goes, well, my buddy, Herbert, is running a game, and it's a home spin. It's like 3.5 D&D, but, you know, it's different. You know, all right, I'll try it. So I get to the game session, and it's at Herbert's mother's house. Okay, fine. Knock on the door. This 70-year-old woman answers the phone, or answers the door, not the phone, fuck. But at first I'm a little thrown back. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I think I have the wrong address, ma'am. And to which she replied, are you here for my son Herbert's game? Yes, ma'am, sorry, it's just, he didn't tell me that he, was living with his mother. And she goes, oh, it's fine, he does that. They're in the back house, the house behind this house. Come on through, I'll show you through. You know, their house had a guest house in the backyard. I don't know. Mother-in-law suite, if you will. And it was attached to the house. There's no way to get into that little apartment unless you go through the backyard. She goes, leads me through, and she's all, oh, how you doing? Can I get you some tea? I'm like, no, I'm good, but thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Appreciate it greatly. So, she walks me out the back door and lets me in, knocks on the other door, because, you never know what the fuck could be going on behind a closed door. And Herbert and Highlander answer, and a few other people, and they, come on in, sit down, and I start, asking questions. So the system is based on 3.5, and he goes, Herbert's like, oh yeah, totally original, wholly only created mine. I just borrowed some of the rules from 3.5. I'm like, okay, cool. Are the rules for character creation the same? He goes, oh yeah, just the same. That's just some of the very few rules, all of them, that he borrowed. Turns out he borrowed everything from D&D 3.5. He borrowed everything, all of it. The only thing he changed was instead of calling elves elves and dwarfs dwarfs, they had different names. The races had different names. They had the same stats. They had the same traits. Everything was the fucking same. All the merits and feats, the same. Weapon titles, names, everything, the same. Regions of the world for the game system, the same. But classes were different. Oh, for classes, he ripped off, I think it was Final Fantasy Tactics that he had knocked off for that. Because you didn't have clerics. No, you had clerics and paladins, but a lot of the little smaller classes were broken off into bullshit fucking names. But that was the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed is that the dude's got a giant bowl of strawberry sherbet. First, I didn't think anything of it. But periodically, throughout the course of the gaming session, Herbert would get up, go to the kitchen, which really wasn't that far away, because the mother-in-law suite was a small little one-bedroom, 1.5 bath, apartment that was built onto the back of his mother's house. And so, I didn't think shit about it. Fuck. But he would get these giant bowls. And I don't mean like a, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Let me dump my dice out of this. Sorry, I was working on something. Alright, this is like one of my little project bowls. It's a good-sized bowl. It's an okay-sized bowl. It holds the right amount. It holds the right amount of bits and pieces for what I'm working on. You don't need to worry about it. But he had a bowl that was 3-4 times the size of that. Like a mixing bowl. And what he would do is he'd get a tub, a half-gallon tub of strawberry sherbet, and dump that in the bowl. And that was what he was eating. He wasn't drinking anything. He was just eating strawberry sherbet all fucking night. Okay, so the guy really likes strawberry sherbet. Awesome. So we sit down to make our characters. And I was doing pretty well because it's just, instead of calling, a druid, they were known as Earth Guardians. Humans were Haman. So I'm playing a human druid, or as he wanted it called, a Haman Earth Guardian. Everything else about it's fucking same. The character sheet looks like one of the fucking D&D fucking open source fucking character sheets you can find online. But he had a bunch of these, and he had obviously just changed the name. And it wasn't until years later that I found out that not only had he just ripped off D&D and tried to make it his own, which again, I'm not slamming anyone that, wants to borrow sets from games and change them around a little to kind of make it work for them or their group or whatever they want to do. That's fine. But don't sit there and say that you have a wholly original idea when it's really just a reskinned whatever the fuck. If you make a Sonic and you color it like Pikachu, it's not an original concept. It's a reskin. Congratulations. You're not special. But aside from that, it was just D&D 3.5. And I'm okay with that. It's fine. It really is. I'll play almost anything. Shit, I'll try it. And so I'm playing a Haman Earth Guardian instead of a human druid. Standard creation. Woo. And the gods, the deity system for the game is the same, so he's still worshiping. I can't remember the deity now. It's been a while. But, so we go to start with the session. Okay, fine. I can put aside the fact that all he's eating for the next 5 hours is strawberry sherbet, or that he just reskinned D&D. Nothing wrong with that. I don't mind D&D. But the game goes on. And the game kind of peters at a point where the rogue, as he called them, the Shadow Cloaks, is trying to sneak down a hallway to disarm a trap before it goes off, so that the rest of the group can pass through. And that's fine. Instead of, our normal tactic of sending the paladin down the hallway, or as he called them, pillars of the just, we send the shadow cloak, the rogue. Just send the rogue. Shadow cloak. So our rogue's down there trying to do it, and the rogue thinks he's disarmed it. Hell, Herbert said, yeah, you've disarmed this end of the trap. The hallway is now safe. The door is now safe. So we all kind of go in, and we hang out behind a I guess you want to say an alcove, behind the door to the side, as the rogue throws the door open. And there's a puff of smoke and an explosion. So he set off the trap that, well, as we thought, on the other side of the door. All right, that's fine. He set off the other end of the trap. We can work with this. But, Herbert was a very tricky man. He had a very peculiar way of dealing with this. Now, remember how I said Herbert was a pervert? We're getting to that. But first, we're going to take a break. And there. That's where we'll take it. Right now. That's right. We're back. All right. Where was I? God damn it. Continue recording, motherfucker. Sorry, I keep getting this dumb pop-up, and I'm not sure what it's about. Anyways, what ends up happening is Herbert the pervert has declared that the room is safe after the little wisp of smoke has escaped through the door and the rumbly explosion from the other side has subsided. So we all come out of this little enclave, culvert, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and proceed into the room. Once we're in there, an iron gate shuts on the door that we just came through. There are no doors and windows on this interior room. And we hear a low rumble from deep beneath where we're standing. And the floor falls out from under us. He described it as being on a hinge, so it went like that. Okay, fine. So, down we all go a-tumbling into a lake with smooth walls that we can't perch on because they're at an angle. And we all slowly succumb and go under. We're like, alright, this is an interesting way to either kill off the party or move the story a different route. Well, we all come to, but we're all in different rooms. Well, that's not uncommon. Break the party into separate rooms before you torture them. Well, we hear some mechanical whirling and some other sounds. And Herbert described it as we all felt ill and misplaced. We weren't sure how. We couldn't really see anything. We couldn't move our heads. We felt our mouths bit gagged. Bet gagged. As if something was, placed in there to gag. It's like gag ball rag, whatever. But we're also muted from a spell, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, what ends up happening is this mechanical whirling eventually snaps chairs around. And we're still all looking up at this. For all intents and purposes, I'm not going to try to remember what the fuck he called wizards. But this wizard has us all tied up on chairs. And Herbert has us roll perception. We all roll perception. Most of us pass. A few of us fail. And Herbert starts giggling. Just giggling like a kid who just found $1. Right? Like, he is giggling and smiling like a fool. And he goes, "You all notice that you're now girls." What? Wait, what? No, I don't have a problem with characters, people that gender bend on their characters. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. Hell, it was a little weird that it didn't seem, well, actually, now that I think about it, it really wasn't weird that he asked if anyone was going to gender bend at the start of the game, or if anyone wanted to gender bend, because that's a legitimate question for a GM. It pays to know the gender of your players' characters. It allows you to adjust or tweak situations as need be. So that's fine. What ended up happening, though, is at this point he's turned everyone their character into a little girl. And to determine their age, he's rolling a D12. that's their age, 1 through 12. Nobody ended up under 5. I think my character was like 7 at one of the youngest. Most of them were 9, 10, and 11, and we had one 12-year-old. And then he just, sits there and starts laughing about this as if this is some great plot twist. And it really wasn't that great of a plot twist. It's like, okay, you've turned a bunch of adult males into tiny females who are all prepubescent. Dude, you're kind of fucking creepy. To which he immediately threw down his fucking bowl of sherbet and started saying, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, okay, fine, just go on, let's see where the story is going. Well, Herbert, as the chairs unlock and we're thrown, the chairs kind of ejector seat us, tip over, and knock us down another pathway, which dumps us, naked and afraid, outside of this wizard's tower. Like, that was all the wizard had in store. Thank fucking God. Okay, so now our characters are stuck out in the woods. Naked, unequipped. And we have to somehow find a way to either get into the tower to force the wizard to fix this, or we get arrested and end up in a orphanage in this town. I mean, my God. He had us arrested, thrown into an orphanage. At this point, I'm sitting there going, rubbing my forehead. He's like, "What's wrong? Shout techies." It's like, look, dude, I can understand you having your thing. It's okay to have a fetish. It's fine to fucking use it. But for God's sakes, don't impose it on other people in a game. Much less people you don't really know that well. He goes, "Are you a homofag? Are you a homophobe?" I'm like, no, dude, I've got no problem with that. Hell, you saw how I created my character. I was playing a male. He goes, "Yeah, because you picked it." I said, "No, because I rolled a fucking dice." "What?" "Yeah, I have a D6 that it's blank on all 6 sides, and it says M or a female. It's an M or an F on each side. That's how I determine my fucking gender when I play some games, because I don't care about the character's gender." He's like, "What?" It's like, yeah, don't, me. You watched me roll this dice to determine if I was going to play a boy or a girl. I'm playing a boy. You have no problem. I have no problem with this, and you have no problem with how I did that. I just think it's kind of weird and creepy that you did this in the game. Well, how do I describe it? He then gets angry at me because I called him on his bullshit. Highlander goes, "Yeah, Herbert, that's really fucking creepy that you're doing this. I mean, I told you about, not doing this kind of shit again." And, Herbert gets mad. Like, Herbert gets really fucking mad. Like, Herbert hurls a large bowl. Like, a big ceramic bowl that was probably about 14, 15 inches in diameter. And from the base of the bowl to the top of the bowl, probably about 8 inches. Full of fucking strawberry sherbet at Highlander. Highlander dodges. Like, literally, he ducks out of the way of this flying bowl of fucking sherbet as it goes crashing through the window that was behind Highlander. And we're kind of looking at Herbert like, dude, what the fuck, man? So we all start kind of gathering our stuff, because we're just going to dip out. We don't want to deal with this. It was a little creepy when he turned our characters to, females. It was really creepy when they were all under 13. And it was very creepy that he got so angry that we said, "Dude, that's not really something you should do. You're acting like a pedophile. Dude, you're kind of giving off a pedo vibe right now." But Herbert gets so mad over this to throw something at another player, something that could have really fucking hurt Highlander if it had hit him in the face, I mean, it was a heavy enough bowl to go through a double plate, pane of glass because, insulation keeps the house cool in summer, warm in the winter. And South Texas gets insanely hot in the summer, and we have like 4 days of extremely cold. Go fucking figure. But, I mean, this was a heavy fucking bowl, and it went skipping out that window and smashed when it hit the patio. Like, he hurled it as hard as he fucking could. I mean, if that would have hit someone, it would have fucking hurt him. And then he starts shrieking and screaming about how we're all just assholes and we're terrible friends. It's like, dude, I don't really consider myself your friend. I just met you. At this point, you're kind of a loose acquaintance. But at this point, I don't think I want to be here. Well, Herbert goes, fine, I'm going to my room. He grabs some of his stuff and he just kind of walks off and into his room and shuts the door. So we're, quietly cleaning up our trash and picking our stuff up because we're all going to leave. When Herbert comes back in to the room, and Herbert, okay, bear with me, because this is one of those things that you'll only ever see once in your fucking life. Maybe twice if you're really unfortunate. Okay? I promise what I'm saying is fucking true. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Herbert comes out of his room, right? He is wearing... I don't even know how to fucking describe it. It's like really bad, poorly put together chainmail poncho. Like, it's not a good set of chainmail. It's not properly made. It's like someone took a bunch of key rings and made a set of chainmail out of little, like, 1/4-inch diameter keyring links. And he's got a fucking axe. He's got a little fucking axe that you used... I think he probably bought it at a store or at a fucking convention or something. Because it's an ornately decorated bullshit demon axe. Ooh. And in his other hand, he's got a stupid fucking sword that's obviously a really bad display sword that you would never think to take into a fight because it would fall apart. And Herbert is standing between all but two of us. Two people actually were able to gather their shit up and get out in a hurry. The rest of us had books to put in the backpacks, figures, dice, everything. He's standing between the four of us that weren't fast enough to pack and get the fuck out, and the door. Highlander, one of the other people, myself, are on one side of him. We're to his, his left, our right. Yeah, so we're over on his left, and the other guy is way over on his right. And my buddy Highlander and I, we've been in a lot of fights together. I'm not saying I know I could stop a guy wielding a stupid axe and a fucking shitty-ass Chinese Pakistani sword. But we're going to try to hold his attention while this really thin guy, who's, I'm not going to say his real name, I still talk to him, and at the time, he had cancer. So we're trying to hold his attention so he can sneak out. Well, Herbert comes marching up to us with this sword out, like he's, trying to keep us back. And he's got an axe. The guy that had cancer was able to slip out the door and run. I don't know how far he got, but as soon as he was out that door, he was good. He was safe. Well, he starts talking, Herbert, about how we're just, being mean, and we're bullying him, and we're being jerks, and
our behavior is inappropriate and he needs to punish and teach us a lesson, and starts kind of walking forward. Well, we're trying to walk at an angle so where we'll end up on the other side of the table from him. And his, little mother-in-law suite have this huge fucking oak table. We're trying to keep that between us and him. Alright? And trying to circle around that to get to the door to get the fuck out. Well, Herbert is yelling and screaming at us incoherently at this point, and he's banging this stupid fucking sword on the table. Like, he's hitting it as hard as he can, and he's doing the same thing with the axe. Well, the head of the axe breaks off and bounces back and sticks into the shitty drywall. It doesn't bury itself in there neatly. No, it's like the edge of it got caught on something and it's just kind of floppy there. So then he throws the handle of it at us, and we kind of skirt to the side. And as we skirt to the side, it's like, whoop, and it goes between us. And he starts double-handing the sword, and he starts trying to thrust it towards us, and he's pacing back and forth, trying to keep us from getting out that door. And this goes on for what felt like for fucking ever. I mean, I was starting to think, God damn, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die from a fucking pedophile that loves nothing but strawberry sherbet. So, he's got his back to the door. We've got our backs against the kitchen wall. So, Highlander, this other guy, and myself are kind of fucked. I mean, one of us will probably get shanked if we make a bolting dash for the door. The other two, at least one will get away, but the other two, one or two may get away, but one person for sure is going to get fucking killed. That was, our line of thought. So, what ends up happening is what seems like for fucking ever, as we're going this way, and he's following us around the table. So, it's not like we're going this way, he goes that way. Sorry, let me get a better angle. It's not like we go this way, he goes that way. No, he's following us to keep an eye on us and at the same pace. It's none of this shit. It's this, which is not what we wanted. So, after a while, we start hearing a police siren. A lot of police sirens, like 3 of them, at least. And Herbert yells, "Who called the cops, huh? You little..." I don't remember what he's yelling, but he's yelling incoherently at us as if one of the 3 of us had called the cops. It wasn't us. He was in the room. We didn't call the cops. But apparently, the kid with cancer, whose name I really wish I could say, but I'm not, because I don't want to fucking expose who he is, because I don't want, Herbert coming after my ass. Apparently was able to get out and call the fucking police. And he called the police from Herbert's mom's phone. Because he was still there. He was just inside waiting for the police. Herbert's mom apparently was terrified of this. But I'll explain how we found out about her and how we found out it was him that had called from her phone in a minute. Herbert is sitting there brandishing this sword, keeping us thrusting and swinging at us. Well, we're trying to get away from him, and anytime we go to try to throw something at him, he lunges across the table with the sword. And finally, the sirens stop coming closer. And they're pretty damn close. It's pretty damn loud. And what ends up happening is we see not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 8 fucking cops outside coming through the house, Herbert's mom's house, into the backyard. And they're ready to take Herbert down. The only problem is they can't shoot him because he's got 3 people behind him. So they announce who they are, and Herbert
turns and looks at him. At this point, while he turns, we scatter off to the far walls, thinking, oh shit, they're going to shoot him. Let's not be caught behind his ass when they light him up. You know, and he's like, no. He's yelling at them, no, you can't tell me what to do. Get off my lawn. Get out of my yard. It's like, dude, you're holding 3 people with a big-ass sword, threatening to kill them, and you're trying to tell the police they can't be there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're fucking brilliant, Herbert. Well, Herbert spins around, sees that we've split, and by this point, most of us are close enough to the door to where we could get out. We get out, we book it, and we press right into that house, and the cops have us, unfortunately, cops push us to the ground, so we can't really go anywhere. But they had to make sure that, we weren't part of the problem. And it's like, no, the cops, they're just doing their damn job. And I remember when the cops were going, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. And one of us wasn't able to get out. Highlander was stuck in there with him. And I'm like, oh, shit. I thought Highlander was right behind me. What ends up happening is Herbert swings the sword down on the table out of frustration. And it had all these stupid little spikes that came off the hilt. Well, one of the spike blade things broke off and cut his fucking leg bad. Like, we're talking, like, Highlander said, like, it just went right through his fucking shin, and it was like, there's blood everywhere. I'm like, damn. So Herbert, having just slammed this stupid sword on the table, breaking the sword, cutting his leg and arm up, starts screaming, and these 8 police officers rush in, and they grab his ass. And my buddy, Highlander, is so shaken, one of the cops has to help him out. Because it's not that he was hurt, and it's not that Highlander, is a cowardly man. No, Highlander is not a coward. The furthest thing from it. It's just that what had just transpired was incredibly fucking shocking and very unusual. This is not the kind of crap you expect when you go to a game. And what's even more shocking is that Highlander was friends with this guy for a long time. Now, this is the first time I met him, but I've heard about him through Highlander a few times as being a really good GM. He's very innovative with his storylines. But honestly, after seeing this, I just think the guy was fucking nuts. He damn near cut his fucking foot off with his own fucking sword after he broke it on the table and the blade and some other shit from the handle cut his fucking leg up. He held 4 people with a fucking sword and a stupid axe. He tried to kill some of us, and then he was dumb enough to sit there and point the thing at the cops and yell, "Get off my lawn, you can't be here, you can't tell me what to do." Fucking Christ, man. Fucking Herbert the pervert was fucking psychotic. I mean, I know. I know I've been in some really bad game groups. Like, there was the Furry Fuck Planet. That was pretty fucking bad. Stinky was pretty bad. Alvin, she was a very angry little chipmunk. I've been around bad groups before. And in 33 years, I've been around a bunch. But in 33 years, I've only ever run across one person as bad as Herbert the pervert. I mean, for fuck's sakes. The dude fucking threatened to kill us. It's like, Christ, man. The fuck? But anyways, we're kind of there after this happens, and the paramedics are taking him off. And they've got another fucking fire department truck there, and they're kind of giving all of us a once-over because they think some of us might be in shock. They just want to remove any liability. That we all are indeed, as we said, okay. And we were. But our friend that had cancer comes out, and I'm like, dude, did you call the cops? He's like, yeah. I told Herbert's mom what he was doing, and she said, you're going to have to call the police. I'm going to call his doctor. Apparently Herbert's mother was used to this stuff, to where she had she knew to call his doctor about this. But I mean, I don't think there's a real lesson to learn here other than don't fucking game with crazy sons of bitches. Doing so might get you fucking stabbed by a sword or chopped up with an axe by a crazy man. But I mean, that is Herbert the pervert. Herbert the pervert who liked strawberry sherbet. I mean, the dude ate nothing but sherbet while we were there. The police had to be called. He almost cut off his own foot with his sword when he broke it because of all these extra little fan blades that came out of the hilt and spikes and crap, because one of those broke off and nearly cut off his goddamn foot. I'm not saying like it actually nearly cut off his foot, but it was a really deep and bad cut to the back of his leg around the ankle, above the ankle, behind the, right behind the bones, probably by the Achilles tendon. It doesn't matter because he damn near fucking killed people. And yeah, I really don't have another way to end that. I mean, there's no lesson to be learned because you can't really predict when people do that. He didn't present himself as crazy for the first half of this whole exodus. It was just a sudden upwelling of psychotic bullshit when we're like, dude, that's not really cool. Because, he acted this way. And it's like, okay, fine. There's no moral, there's no lesson. There's nothing more to really add to this. That's just how he was, I guess. I don't know. But that was a story of Herbert the pervert who liked strawberry sherbet. I'm only calling Herbert the pervert because he was a perv and it rhymes with sherbet. Anyways, a couple things. If this video, let's say it gets, I'm going to do this shit. If this video gets this many, whatever, I'll tell you what. Guys, if I get 100 subs by the end of the fucking week, and I mean by next Saturday, I'll fucking upload a video of me shaving my head. 100 subs, 1,000 views on just this video? Fuck yeah, I'll shave my head and film it for you. I'm not shaving the beard, but that's because that hides a few scars I don't want you to see. So, yeah, Herbert. Wow, that's one of the ones I don't like talking about. But I felt like it was an important story to tell you. And as I said, 100 subs and or at least 1,000 views, whichever happens first on this video by next Friday, I will film myself getting my head shaved and I will upload it to YouTube as a not scheduled video. So there you go. Anyways, I'm South Texas Fail. If you hate the video, awesome. If you like the video, you're an idiot. And if you sub to my channel, what the fuck is wrong with you?